Have you ever been in your email or on a page and you went to print, and when you did, it stripped off all the logos and all the other stuff and just kind of left you with the main article or the email that you're printing? The way that's done is by having a specific CSS file for printing and feeding it into the system. So let's show you how to do that right now. I'm going to do another link, and I'm going to link out to a print.css file that we're going to create here in a second. Say rel equals style sheet, just like normal. We can do a type equals text.css. But we're going to do something to differentiate these two files, because right now it would pull up the print file and try to display it on the screen just like normal. So we're going to change the type of media that is being used here. Okay, and there's lots of different types, but primarily we're going to use one called screen, and we're going to use another one called print. And these are something we're going to be using in the future with media queries and some other stuff. But we're gonna say we want our page to render out on the screen and the print. Now what that basically does is it will pull this CSS for something that's printed, and it will pull this CSS for something on the screen, and then this CSS for printing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to all. Okay. And then we're going to make adjustments and override those elements we want to for the print. Okay, so it's going to use our CSS. It's going to look like that. So I mean, we can do that right now, and I can just go to print, and it will look like a normal print job. That background image isn't coming through. I could probably look at that, but let's now create that print file. So I'm going to go over here, and we're going to create a new file, and we're going to call it print.css. We're going to compare it against ours. Now ours is going to be loaded, and then we're going to override things. So first off, let's look at the body, and what elements in the body should we change? Well, first off, we should probably turn off that background pattern. So I'm just going to say background, none. And our color, let's go with straight black now, because we're going for print. Then we're going to look at our wrapper. And for that, we're just going to say that the width is going to be 100%, because we want it to span the entire width, right? And that should be fine. We could turn off the border radius and border shadow, but I think if we have 100%, I think it should, disappear and not show up there. Our header with our logo, we probably don't want that on there. So let's do our header. It's going to be displayed as a none. Our navigation, we also probably don't want that displayed. So I'm going to do a comma, nav tags here. And our hero image, I think that was an ID. So we'll make that. So we've got our header, our hero image, our navigation all will be turned off. Should probably also turn off our footer. We don't need that. And I think that might be good. Let's take a quick look at that and see how that works. So I'm going to save it, and we'll go ahead and hit print. And we got a preview now. Now I do have some of that shadow coming through. I probably should have got rid of that. So let's turn that border to none. Come back here, we'll refresh it, we'll go to print again. And that's coming up still. So there's the reason is we've got that box shadow. So I should do that box shadow none. Let's look at that. Let's see how that turned out. And that went away. And that looks like a pretty good print job. Now the problem is we've got this section of the page where we have the history kind of spanning 2 pages. So let's go through, and I'm going to do a new entry here. We're going to put in, and we're going to call it dot new page. We're going to do a class where we can put it in multiple times. We'll do a page break before, and we'll set that to always. And then instead of here, we're going to go to our HTML and look at where our page could break. And it was breaking right in the middle of history. So let's go right before history. Okay, and let's put in this, we have a class clear here. Let's also apply the new page. And again, you can mix and match classes together, and you can also put an ID. So if I want to put an ID, you can also do an ID in there as well. So if you are going to do multiple classes, just put a space in between the two. Okay, let's refresh that. Let's go to print. And now you can see where it forced that history down to a new page. It's just a way to clean some of your print jobs a little bit better, make things a little bit nicer. A couple other things to consider. Make sure your fonts are being displayed at the right size, that they're legible. Make sure you're changing your colors back to black. Make sure you hide any non-essential content that really doesn't matter or doesn't count towards a print job. And that's probably the best rules you need. So in review, again, it's going to load up our CSS first, and then we're going to override and turn off the elements we don't want inside of our print job. And that makes it a lot easier to control printing.